the earlier part of the year. So I'm blessing God, though, just to be here. When I walked into the building today, I asked Doc how he was feeling, and he says, I'm here. So many of us don't realize how powerful that statement is, because if you're not where you're supposed to be, you're probably somewhere you don't want to be. All right. But we thank God for another day. Please welcome my co-host, the brilliant, the eminent, and the consistent Marvin Doc Cheatham. How are you, Doc?
I woke up. I don't know about all those titles you gave me, but I woke up and yesterday my daughter called and I couldn't go back to sleep, so I've been awake. She was reminding me that it was my mom's anniversary of her passing. And I said, I need to bring something to your show. I had no idea you had these two lovely ladies coming with us today, but I figured in honor of her, we lost one of our great singers that many people never knew that before the Supremes, they were the Primettes. They were not three people, they were four people.
That's right.
And this young lady, Barbara Martin, she passed away at 76. She was one of the original singers of the Primettes who turned into the Supremes. And she passed away. And I just wanted to tell folks, I'm not ashamed. I am mama's boy. I'm probably the only black man in Maryland that's belonged to 4 women organizations. I belong to NOW, the League of Women Voters, the National Council of Negro Women, and Women Power. Now, of course, I ain't have a vote. But my mom taught me well, love the women. So I am honored. I'm gonna sit down and shut up and look at these pretty ladies.
They are absolutely gorgeous. And please also welcome our producer and co-anchor, Mr. Jason Rodriguez. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, family. Just want to remind everyone we are now streaming live. Oh, sorry. You gotta turn me on. We are now streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, as well as YouTube. I'm trying to get the Facebook up as we speak. And as everyone knows, we dedicate each and every show to the late, great, distinguished gentleman, intelligent gentleman, James C. Morant.
Yes, we do. We bless him and his family on this day. Well, I am just so excited because I have a young lady who many of us know because she was once a senator, but she's also a brilliant author and an entrepreneur par excellence. And we would like for you all to please welcome Senator Barbara Robinson. How are you?
Hello, everybody. It's a joy to be here. It's an honor.
Well,
it's an honor to be here.
Well, it's an honor to have you. Thank you. She brought her daughter. I can't imagine her daughter being microphone shy. But, you know, they say where the fruit don't fall far from the tree. But I don't know where she's scared of this microphone, because I know she's got to be brilliant because her mama done brought her up in the way that she should go. We welcome each and every one of you. This is Women's History Month.
Yes, Lord.
In fact, I believe today or tomorrow is International Women's Day. Jason, and I wanted to show, as many of you saw on my Facebook post yesterday, I wanted to talk about our women and how valuable they are to us and to the world. The black woman is considered the progenitor. In other words, the beginning of mankind, womankind. We all came from a black woman. It all started there. But Alice Cooper has a song that says, "Women are the niggers of the world." That was the title I quoted, in case some of y'all going, what did he just say? Women are the niggers of the world. And I agree with him. Did y'all know the black man was given the right to vote in America before even white women?
15th to the 19th, yes.
Yes, did y'all know that? Now, many of y'all didn't know that. Them white men said, no, we're going to keep you under our feet. Now, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, in her amazing book called The Color Keys, contends the reason for that is the white men are afraid if they give the women too much power, they're going to go out and get a black man. I ain't going to say what I want to say. I'm trying to be saved on the air. Y'all don't have to wonder why, but they're afraid they're going to give the power away to black men, so they keep them under their feet. And when I say under their feet, you have no idea of the many ways that they do it. And we're going to discuss some of those things today. But as many of you know, Elizabeth Warren was the last female contestant or candidate running for the presidency. And she lost by a large margin. And in fact, they said 69% of white women voted against her. Now, Elizabeth Warren is not only a brilliant woman, but she's a compassionate woman. She is a woman that came from nothing, has all the credentials and the brain power to do great things. There are two people that Wall Street fear, and that's Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. But they especially fear Elizabeth Warren because they understand she has this strategic surgical mind to go in and make changes that they're not going to like. They automatically don't want her there. But my problem is, why didn't women vote for her? And what is this sexism, and how it still divides it? I equate sexism, which is where people contend that because of your gender, that you don't have equal rights or that you're not as good as, which is the same thing as racism.
Right. That's it.
It's the same thing. Just a different a word describing the same thing, which is why I don't understand how black people can be against other people's freedoms. I never understood that. I don't have a right to tell you who you can love. How dare me to think that I have a right to do that? You ain't got to sleep with me. I ain't got to look at your ugly face or your pretty face or whatever. You can't tell me who I'm going to sleep with. So what makes us think we have a right to do that? And I just don't. Sometimes I look at television, Senator, and I see the white man with the black woman. Yeah, I cuss the screen.
It's your day confession.
It's my confession. But then I say to myself, I don't have a right to do that. I can't tell people.
You know, when I see a white man with a black woman, I go, yeah. Because so many times we see a black man with a white woman.
Yes.
And so, and that's in some point putting the black woman down, that we are not good enough to be a trophy wife.
Yes, that's the reverse. Yes, I hear you.
Right.
And I agree with you 100%. When I look at all them athletes and they show their wives, the first thing coming to my mind, I bet she going to be white. Okay, that's the first thing coming to mind. So I feel you at the same time. But the thing for me is that's going to be wealth that's going to be taken out of the black community, because when he's gone, guess who she going to join up with? Her people. And that money is going to go there. So it's all sorts of reason, and we see it in so many ways. And, to a large degree, we're all biased and we all have our prejudices. But Martin Luther King said the only problem with humanitarian love is that it loves all things in general and nothing in particular. For me and my house, I love my people. There's nothing better. There's nothing greater. There's no one greater than my people. So anything we can do and anything I can do to bring us together and to help us better understand each other, and one of the biggest divides is within our domestic situations between our men and our women. They're saying that 77% of black women will never marry. And the reason for that, they contend, is a lack of trust. Trust, trust. I don't know if I really do agree with that statistic.
With that. Women don't marry now. At one time is you had to marry. Well, when are you going to get married and bring children in the world? And you're married by 18 or 19. But if you're not married, are you gay? Why don't you have a man in your life? Even when and that mindset when I was living in the projects years ago, and my husband had my late husband now, but had gotten shot, and so he was in the hospital, in Providence Hospital actually, for a year. They weren't expecting him to live. They all kind of treatments, because when the bullet went into his body, it circled his body 6 times before coming out. What? So we're living in the projects, and I'm there with my 4 babies. And some of his friends, had come, well, you need a man in your life. Let me take your husband's place.
And he was still living.
But you need a man to take care of. No, I did not. My husband wasn't in the house because he was in the hospital.
Right.
but I'm still working, and we're still taking care of our kids. But what I'm saying is that mindset that says, even with him still being alive, as a woman, I needed a man.
That's the,
and that was the mindset.
Society.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, and it's also that has changed to a large degree because a lot of women, and this is weird. It might sound weird to say, but they found out when it's just the woman and the child seems to be better provided for because there's less expenses on other things. The focus is on the child and the mother. But we all know that a child needs a father too, especially girls and especially boys. They need both sides of the coin. Now, we can't say that a mother can't raise a child because we know that's a lie. I know plenty of women that have raised great, brilliant, and responsible children.
Absolutely.
So we can't say that. But I think for girls, though, it makes it a little bit harder.
But you know something? It's also, it's like a woman carries the weight of the woman on her shoulders. What I mean is that if I do something, I'm embarrassing women. Just like we say that blacks carry blacks on their shoulder. Oh, she's a disgrace to the entire race, or she's embarrassing the entire race. And this woman, well, she's letting womanhood down. Never, ever have we heard when something happens to a man, you letting manhood down, or you're disgracing the man, So there are different circumstances, or different set of rules.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's ingrained, and I don't know why, but we need to get away from that. And let me make my mistakes as an individual.
As a human, yes.
Right, and not necessarily carrying the weight of anybody on my shoulder.
You got enough with carry on your own.
That's right.
But we don't do that.
Right.
I'm honored today. As many of you know, I have a big family. And my first sister, Lamitra Henderson Parker. Good morning, sweetheart. How are you?
Good morning. How's everybody?
All right. Good
hello,
morning.
how are you?
Who is that?
Okay.
All right.
I was just listening.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was just listening, and I was thinking about what you said about young ladies and men. Young ladies do need their father in their life. They need to have someone who shows them love, what love is about, how they should be treated. The dad normally, treats them like a queen. And so when the dad teaches the way that they should be loved, then they don't tolerate different things from men because they know the way they should be treated. So that's what the man comes into the female life. Now the young boy needs a male to tell him about being a man. As my son told me, I've been with you all my life, and I've heard what you say. I need to see what a man has to say about being a man, about life. Okay. He grew up with me, and then he wanted to hear what men had to say. So it does make a difference both ways, but a female definitely needs her father. Even if he's not living there, he still needs to be in her life.
Yes, as a mentor.
I agree with that. And what I also is that when we have clubs out, boys clubs, in order to mentor to boys, then sometimes those men clubs should also mentor to women. So the caller is exactly right. However, if you don't have that in your family, like if you read my first book, you'll see where I was sexually molested and abused by my stepfather, who was in the home. And my biological in the home, because there was so much contention between my stepfather and my biological father. I was not even allowed to mention my biological father's name in my household, because if I did, then my stepfather would beat my mother, who was an alcoholic. So so what we need to do, and I'm just going from experience, you're absolutely right. We need these type of support systems
Yes, ma'am.
in our family. But if you do not, then you got to stand on your own.
Yes.
So I would like to teach these young people, young boys and young girls, everything that you need in order to be successful is inside of you. Because sometimes you have to reach it inside of you in order to make it in the world, especially depending on the household that you're coming from. I didn't know what the word dysfunctional meant until I got to be an adult. And then because I grew up in a dysfunctional household.
That was the norm.
That was the norm for me.
And a lot of people, it's the norm. They don't know any different
Right.
because
That's
that's all they've ever seen. So they continue the madness.
That's right.
Right.
We've got
And use that as an excuse for failure.
Yeah, exactly, and then do the same thing to their children.
Absolutely.
So now I just hit a Fran. We've got another guest this morning. For Fran Allen, she's the CEO of Self Development.
That's right. That's my buddy.
Is your buddy?
Yeah, long time, about 40 years. Is that right, Fran?
Wow. Fran,
All right, Paula. Yes.
welcome to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank
Good
you.
morning.
I didn't mean to leave you out. I was trying to get to you. They got these new phones, so everybody's complaining because we don't know how to operate them yet. But thank you for calling in. Fran, what do you think so far about what we're discussing?
Fran and I started an organization. Fran and I started Minority Women Business Owners together about 35 or so years ago, Fran. And that were women from D.C., Virginia, and Maryland.
Wow.
Yeah.
So let's say you knew.
So we go back.
Yes, we do. I tell you, so we got two authorities here that
She's
have been
also
working.
an author too.
She's an author also.
She's an author.
Well, you came highly recommended. I believe it was Dr. Lindsay Bean.
Yes.
Who referred you. And from what we're told is that you are not only an authority, but you're an activist and have been at this a long time. So far, what do you think the subject is? Black women and sexism. Women and sexism. So what would you like to say? We're open to hear what your comments.
Well, the first thing that I'd like to say is that Barbara Robinson is a staunch community activist,
Yes.
and all that activism that I learned at her feet.
Bless you.
You cannot be excellent if you are not sitting at the feet of excellence.
That's right. That's right.
And so I would give that to my sister.
Wait a minute, I want to. Hold up. See, you didn't open up the can now. You said you cannot. You said you cannot be excellent unless you are sitting at the feet of excellence. Is that what you just said?
Yes, that is what I said.
Well,
That
then
is what I said.
how do you explain the treachery, the undermining, or the threat of black women with black women when it comes to other black women? I agree with you 100%. Stephen Jobs, as you all know, invented the Apple computer, and Stephen Jobs could not even program a computer. He said, so what did I do? I went and found the best programmer I could, and I listened to him. But we in the black community, we seem to be intimidated by each other, and women get the brunt
Intimidated
of
by
it.
intelligence.
Intimidated by intelligence, but women get the brunt of it. How do you explain that, and what can we do, ladies? Is my comment today to
Can I comment?
Yes.
There is one word in my mind that explains it all, and that word is dysfunction, just like Barbara said, dysfunction. You cannot know the right way to go if you have not been exposed to what is right.
That's right.
If you have not ever experienced love in the home, how can you teach love in the home if you didn't come from love in the home? How can you be about integrity and intelligence and excellence if you have not been around anyone exhibiting or demonstrating those character traits or behavior?
Yes, ma'am. My mother used to say you can't repeat what you haven't seen. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut you off.
Exactly right.
You can't teach what you don't know.
Yeah, you can't teach. Lemitra, what were you saying,
And you
sweetheart?
cannot teach.
Yes.
But beyond that, we have not been taught how to choose. So your choice is the thing that protects your quality of life.
You say that one more time. Your what?
Your choice is the thing that protects your quality of life.
Yes, ma'am. Your critical
Now,
thinking.
there are some that would say, well, you have no choice, but you do.
Yes.
It may be a hard choice. It may be one that you don't want to make. It may be one that you don't really even understand, but you have it. And if you don't pursue the things that are really going to protect your quality of life, then you have no quality of life. And that's still a product of your choice.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
You know, sometimes you really don't know what quality is because for years
You've not been exposed to it.
you have not
absolutely
been. That's
true.
exactly right. If you have not been exposed to it, then you don't know what it looks like.
Exactly.
You
But
don't know what it feels like.
But we contend, and a lot of us contend, get your hair done and your nails did. That's the quality of life that they seek for because it's a public appearance.
And last night I was speaking to Fran, and Fran was saying that the reason why white conservative women tend to vote for what their husbands vote for is because they're trying to protect their lifestyle. They're trying to protect their lives,
That house,
quality of life.
their quality of life.
Right, and
know,
also their race.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, some years ago, I think Fran's first book was on about quality. What was it, Fran? ABCs or the alphabet or something?
It was called How to Get an A in Life, and it was about 120 words that I redefined based on my own experiences, my own knowledge, my own intellect, what I have been exposed to in my own life, my firsthand experiences around these particular words. But the whole point of the piece was to get people to think outside the box and change the way they think.
Yeah, hey, Fran, I'm going to listen. Hold on for a minute. I'm going to ask. Are you on a speakerphone? If you are,
Can you come off the speakerphone?
yeah, could you come off? We're going to get a better signal because she's just a little bit of a delay and distortion with you on the speakerphone. If you could pick up the phone and talk directly into the receiver, we get a better signal.
Demetria, you had a statement. I'm sorry.
I've almost forgotten what I had to say.
I was trying to put, but we'll come back. Go ahead.
What I wanted to say is that we need to start mentoring our young ladies.
That's
At
right.
a young age, we start just like we're talking about the men mentoring. Women need to mentor young girls starting at a very age, and I think pre-K, and start teaching them about love, about mindfulness, about spiritual things, about loving themselves, knowing how to love themselves. Love don't necessarily come from other people, but since our children are not taught the significance of loving themselves, of the love being inside of them, they don't know.
That's
They
true.
don't know.
And that's exactly what we've started doing.
Yeah. Pretty hair.
That's right.
Fingernails, Patrick, what you're talking about, they think that's the part that's important. They don't know that it's their mind and their heart
That's right.
what's important.
That's
But
right.
we're not taught that. Our young ladies are not taught that. So then they grow up thinking that, like you said, the hair nails and the hairdo is the most significant thing. They have been taught other things.
Yeah.
They just really don't know. And for as women, we are jealous. Basically, we're jealous of one another. We feel as if your house is next door is bigger than mine, then you taking something away from me. You have something that I can't get. So then I'm going to start looking at you crooked eyes because you have something bigger and better than mine. Instead of me being okay with what I have, then I about the lady next door. She thinks she's all that because she's driving a Mercedes and she has a 3,600 square feet house. And it shouldn't be about that.
Instead of learning from her.
It's right. You know, and I think it's also the fact that I feel somewhat let down with myself because you were able to get that house and that Mercedes, and I was not. But if you would take me under your wing and not show off or try to flaunt what you have in front of me,
Flaunt.
and let me know how can I do the same as you, because if you have it, then it means that it's achievable
and attainable. Absolutely. Well, Lamitra, you see,
That's part of mentoring too, though, right?
yeah,
Right.
Now,
That's
Lamitra,
exactly
my
right.
sister, she lives in a beautiful neighborhood, and the lady next door to her had a pool put into her backyard, and she's done all these exclusive things. And Lamitra took me over and introduced me to her because I love architecture and I love decor. And Lil went over to find out. I said, "Well, what do you do for a living?" That was my first question. How do you afford this, and what's going on with it? I think Lamitra, she has a in-home care business.
Yes, home health care.
Home health care business. And she was so sweet and was delighted that I asked. Instead of sitting over there and Lamitra said she thinks she all this, she took me over there and we knocked on the door. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's what we need to do. But we're
Absolutely.
so proud and thinking that people think they're, no, they don't.
But see, that's one of the questions that I posed to Fran last night when we talked was, should there be a guarantee acceptance into the sisterhood? Should there be a guaranteed support into the sisterhood? Should there not be this opposition against your sister, against another woman? Should there be this bringing in and teaching and mentoring and
Absolutely.
helping
Yes.
and supporting each other? Should that be a guaranteed?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
It should be a way of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, baby, we lost Fran. I don't know. Fran, please
No,
call
Fran's
me.
still there.
No,
she is?
She's still
I'm
there.
back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Jackie
But
called.
I do want
ahead.
to chime in. I want to ask what we do about the babies that are having the babies, so that we can teach all these children how to love themselves. But if their parents don't know how to love themselves, how do they keep from undoing? How do they keep from undoing all the work that we do during the day, and then the kids go home at night and get beat?
Ooh, see, you done stop preaching and going to meddling now. See,
Go back to mentoring again.
yeah, but it is not only that, but I'm telling you, I've gone to the school board meetings. And I talked to Dr. Santalises, and I brought this up to her. We're teaching Common Core in the schools, which teaches children to critically think. So they can pose these great questions at school, but they go home and they ask their moms, a question, and the parents think that they're being arrogant. Okay, and I read this book all about the Jewish culture, and the father said to the son, a fool and his money soon part.
That's right.
And the little boy said, well, how'd the fool get the money in the first place? Okay, and if he had done that in the black community, he probably would have got a backhand. Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? Don't you touch that dial. It's finna get hot up in here. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Gonna go for a call ID. Don't you touch the dial. Be right back.
We will stand round, no fear. It's clear, I believe in you.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. Brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
That is the trap question for everyone. If you say, yeah, there was sexism in this race, everyone says whiner. And if you say, no, there was no sexism, about a bazillion women think, what planet do you live on? I promise you this, I will have a lot more to say on that subject later on.
Thank you for playing that. Thank you, Jason, for bringing that clip in. That's what prompted me to have this show. She said, if you say it does exist, they call you a whiner. And if you say it doesn't exist, the other women say, what planet do you live on? Because there is sexism in America. It's as bad as racism. It is just unbelievable. And I told you some of the theories, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more, Jason.
And that's one of the things that I say all the time is one of the reasons why we haven't broken the glass ceiling here in America yet is because of sexism in America. You have other developed countries that have had women prime ministers. In Africa, you've had women presidents in many different countries in Africa. But for some reason here, we have yet to break that ceiling, and a lot of it has to do with sexism in politics.
Absolutely. Well, how do you attribute the fact that the white men gave the black men, while they was lynching us, the right to vote before they gave it to white women? And that is to control, right?
You know, when you say sexism in politics, sexism started in the community and it transcends into politics.
Yes.
You know, when we have individuals in different countries, they don't worry about the same things that we worry about in America. For an example, I was in Africa teaching women leaders how to become leaders, how to start a business. And actually, I went there to find out what their needs were and to come back to America and then write up this great plan and go back, etc. But the women there wouldn't let me do that. They wanted it right now. You know, one of the older women said, you said you're going to teach us, you know, and I said, why? Saturday at 9 o'clock, you know. And when I met these women, they were ready to be trained with nothing. I mean, we were on a sand floor. Well, in talking to one of the younger people, a young man there, he called me auntie. Auntie, what does the word nigger mean? Why are people so taken aback? Why does it hurt you in America when they use that? And what I'm saying is that bothers us the same way that sexism bothers us, and it does not bother them because they have not been exposed to that.
And they don't identify with it. They contend, they say just get over it because they haven't been enslaved.
And we keep falling into the same thing that we've been falling into years.
Dr. Francis Chris Welsing says that we suffer from post-traumatic slave syndrome. I call it post-traumatic enslavement syndrome because I don't believe that we were slaves. We were slaves. We were enslaved.
Yeah, right. That was Dr. Joy DeGruy. That wasn't Dr. No, it was Dr. Now, please, y'all need to go look at that post-traumatic slave syndrome. Just go to YouTube and listen to her. We don't even realize we're still the residual effects of enslavement, that we're still doing things to our children that are the residual effects of enslavement. Amen. I'm going to tell y'all that it's the truth. I know it's the truth, and you can see it. Just go into a grocery store and see a little white boy running all around the store. Mama, I want this. And see a little black store. The mama tell him, you better not move. You stand right here. And the little white boy want to play with the black kid, and he don't understand why the little black kid don't have the same liberties that he has. But we had to be to keep our children near us. When Master would come in the house and he said, oh, that one's growing good, we'd say, oh, no, Master, he dumb. He don't know nothing, because you was scared Master was going to take him from you and sell him. Right. So these things are still being done with our children that we are not aware of. And I keep telling y'all need to go look at that video of Dr. Joy DeGruy that just put in there the post-traumatic slave syndrome, syndrome, and you will be blessed, because it will help you to understand some of the things you're doing, and it's just been passed on down through generations that is hurting our children. We've got Ernest here.
Two.
Okay. Ernest, you have a question or comment, sir?
Yeah. In reference to that white woman that's the governor of Alabama, I noticed that nobody's talked about that. She just executed a innocent
black man. Yes.
Black man. Sexism. These white women, I don't care where they are, the majority of them, some of them are just as racist as their husbands, as their children.
Yes, sir.
And we are voting for them and putting them in office. It's another incident. ER actress dead, Vanessa Marquez. She was shot. The police, they got a call to her house because she had mental problems.
Right. It was suicide. If I remember correctly, no? Was it ruled suicide?
No, it wasn't ruled no suicide. They shot her with a high-powered... The police went to her house with a high-powered Army rifle.
Sad.
Huh?
I just said that's sad. That's sad.
They shot her multiple times, a Hispanic black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what they found in the room?
What?
What?
A BB gun. That's what police usually plant. After they kill an innocent person, they go out to the car, open the trunk up, and put a BB gun. We know about that because it's happened many times in Baltimore.
Yes, sir. Yeah, videotaped.
So, but what they did? She had a gun, and their lives was threatened, and that's why we're not going to even investigate it.
Didn't even investigate it?
Didn't even investigate it.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh
Didn't even investigate it.
Wow.
So that's what we get for Women's Month in the United States.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
White women, white racist men, white supremacists, and this continual war on African ancestral people.
You know what? Senator Robinson brought up an interesting point that I got you, Ernest, because you served in many capacities as a police officer and in life. The Africans say, why do you let the word nigger bother you, when you're in America and you got all these opportunities in America? What are your thoughts on that, quick?
The word nigger is used by white people against African ancestor people all over the world. All over the world. They are called, niggas in Africa called niggers too.
Yeah, but the Palestinians are called niggers too. Okay, keep it the Palestinians. Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're called, you see, they got some Palestinians.
Sand niggers, they call them.
Yeah, they got some Palestinians that's been there since that it's the Africans that's been there. They're actually Africans that been in Palestine for a very long time.
Before Israel.
Because before white people got there, because Jesus was a black person. And Mary was a black person. And so before the only white people that were there were the Romans and the Greeks. Everybody else were black people of color.
Yes, sir.
Black people, African people.
All right. Thanks, Ernest. He's absolutely right. But still,
and wasn't there an email that was supposed to have been leaked in reference to Hillary Clinton using that terminology?
I don't doubt it. I can't believe. Did you hear that Joe Biden was talking about making her as VP?
Yeah.
Boy, I'm telling you, a lot of us going to have a big problem voting for that. Remember her words to young black boys, heel like their dogs, come and get to her feet. No, not Hillary, anybody but Hillary. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People, and if you'd like to call in, we'd love to hear from you at 410 481-1010, 410-481-1010. Please call in. We want to hear from the community.
Doc, do you have anything to chime in on this?
As y'all can see, I am very comfortable with women being in the lead. My mom taught me, you may wear the pants, son, but we're in charge. I'm not ashamed of that at all. And I would say this. One, we have a very intelligent group that you have in here. There's no sense in adding any icing on the cake when the cake has already been done. So I'm enjoying just sitting here listening to these intelligent women.
Well, I am too, but there are different kinds of icing, buttercream. There's all kinds. So come on in with what you would believe. I'm quoting an article here from the New York Times. It says internalizing a culture that does not value women working outside the home or that make women's role as a mother a priority could also discourage women from working longer and flexible hours. This Harvard guy said. For example, Nicole went to work in a large southern city where she quickly learned she needed to study college football every weekend just to participate in company discussions on Monday. Male colleagues expected her to take notes in the meeting, even though she held a leadership position, she said. Male clients would interrupt her or would not look her in the eye. Her experience tracks with the study's findings that sexism in the places where women live and work as adults affects them. But those effects are divided by gender. Women are more likely to marry and have children early when they are surrounded by other women who hold more sexist views on the appropriateness of women working outside the home, the study shows. The views of men don't seem to matter to that calculation. When it Comes to employment and wages, though, women don't seem to be affected by the views of other women around them. But when the men around them are more sexist, women work less, they earn less, and an effect the researchers ascribed as just old-fashioned discrimination. Mm-hmm. Okay? See, the thing that it is that it seems like no matter where they go, they're always underestimated. I mean, the Catholic Church still don't allow no women priests.
Sometimes when we have a need, mm-hmm. and we recognize, when I say we as women, we recognize that we have a need, mm-hmm. and we recognize that need has not been fulfilled, mm-hmm. and then we see that other women have that same type of need, mm-hmm. Rather than sitting back and waiting until somebody else will provide a mechanism to take care of that need, mm-hmm. we need to do that ourselves. For an example, I want to go back to Fran. I have so much respect for this lady.
Okay.
35 years ago, when we were both starting in business, and there were so many things. My first book was based on some of the things that I learned then. When 35 years ago, or maybe a little more than 35, 38, almost 40 years ago, mm-hmm. when we were starting in business, there were some things that I needed to know in order to become a business owner. I'm coming from corporate America. I'm coming from the court system. Mm-hmm. I integrated the restrooms in the court system. I was the first woman and the first black in the history of the court system to have the position of deputy administrator of the district court, the Supreme Bench, and the circuit court.
What? Come on.
I'm leaving there, coming into an entrepreneur, starting my own business, my dream. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know anything about starting a business. Mm-hmm. I met Fran. She and I were on the same boat. We didn't either. So we met some other people that were not from Baltimore. Mm-hmm. And in order for us to learn from each other, mm-hmm. we would meet once a month, but they wouldn't come to Baltimore. Each month, Fran and I would drive to Linthicum, Maryland, to meet with this group, mm-hmm. to learn from this group.
We went to Largo.
It was Largo. Okay, it was
a
Largo.
Further away,
yeah. Mm-hmm. To meet with this group every month, mm-hmm. to learn what they knew, to internalize it into what we knew, and then we learned from them, and what we learned we brought back and started our own company. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. We need to mentor each other, mm-hmm. because we knew what we did not know. Mm-hmm. So we met with some people who knew what we didn't know. Mm-hmm. And we went out of our way, but we didn't call it out of our way. So mm-hmm. they didn't come to us. We went to them.
But that's what it's got to be. I remember my mother. She didn't like to go to PTA meetings, mm-hmm. because she didn't have a degree, and she felt ashamed. She was afraid she was going to split a verb, or she was going to speak incorrectly, and they would judge her. But listen, I saw a show with what's her name? Wrote Beloved. Tony Mars, what's the name?
Tony Mars.
And Oprah. And Oprah said, people who use bad English, you shouldn't listen to. They're not knowledgeable. And Toni Morrison turned and said, sweet, I love you. God bless you. I want you to know what you just said is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
That's right.
She said, just because they don't speak correctly don't mean they don't have good sense.
That's right.
They don't mean they don't have good common sense. And she was correct. She said, don't you ever say that again. Mm-hmm. Ooh, now you don't correct Oprah, but Toni Morrison corrected her that day. And how many people?
She was right to do so.
She was right. She was right to do. But how many of us do that to each other? Feel like we're not good enough because we don't have the schooling and stuff. Baby, that mind you have, because without the black woman, where would we be in the world? And especially here in America.
I will add one thing if I could.
Go ahead.
I met a young lady at a very young age. I was 13, and they told me I need to stand in line to meet her. I did meet her, and years later, she was the impetus in me registering people to vote. Mm-hmm. I celebrate her birthday every year, October the 6th. She split every verb there was, but I knew there was not too many speakers better than her, mm-hmm. and her name was Fannie Lou Hamer.
Hello. low.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
That's
See,
right.
that's what I'm talking about. You
That's
got to
right.
look and rise above it, and
That's
don't
right.
think just because you have
right.
a once a month period that you
That's
are not knowledgeable. My mother didn't have a degree, but I tell you two things she told us: if you go to college and get a degree, that's something nobody can never take from you, and if you go to jail, it was nice knowing you. That was the best wisdom,
right.
and none of us went to jail because she put the fear in us. And I'm gonna tell y'all something else: if education is not important to you as a parent, it will not be important to your children.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that.
True. That is true.
If it's-
Wisdom doesn't care about English.
No,
That's
it
true.
don't. No, it's only to be spoken
That's
and
true.
to be shared once it's gained. We got brother call
But what type
410.
of education?
Go ahead,
Okay.
Mitra.
I
Huh?
was asking what type. I think we put too much emphasis on education.
Yeah, but I'm
Because
talking.
a lot of people.
Go ahead.
A lot of people who don't get an education per se, a college degree, feel as if they're not the same as people who are educated.
Which is not true. Yes, I
Which
agree.
is not true.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with getting a college degree if that's what you desire. But everybody was not meant for college. And
I agree.
everybody cannot attend college.
You know what?
So
And
as a whole,
go ahead.
I think we're worse than most people. I think black people are worse than most people when it comes to that. We tend to look down on people who don't have a college education.
I agree with you. Let me
were
meet you
just
when
saying that yesterday.
when I moved to the East Coast, I moved here to find the black intelligentsia, and I came back here and met all these college educated fools, and then I said it just came on out because that's what they were, educated fools. But see, when I talk about going to college, I'm talking about going just to get information. You don't even have to get the degree. I don't have my degree, but to go and get them. But they got vocations, plumbers make more as much money as a dentist does. Electricians. So you're absolutely right. We've got to get out of that. But we're programmed. That's just an excuse to me to do nothing when there are all sorts of things you can do to make lots of money and earn a good living.
And speaking
without
of
a degree.
sexism in the trades, we have to break those glass ceilings in many of the different trades. You know, women can be plumbers.
Yes.
You know, we know that
Electricians.
now. Electricians. We know that now. There's an emphasis on girls coding,
Right.
and getting into the high tech industry and
Right.
robotics and things. Getting into STEM. You know, we really need to support those programs when it comes to women
I
in
know
the industries.
a young lady who has a company, IT company, and every time she talks, I go cringe because she split verbs and I mean she's
But she know that code, no.
go to her bank account.
Yeah.
Look at her bank account.
Right.
Yeah, look at her
Well,
bank
that's a
account
big-
and
that's a
look at
big-
where she lives and the car she drives, and then I mean, going to
What?
California for the game. I mean, just
Gaming.
yes. I mean, look at the money that she has, and if you talk to her, you go, God, would you shut up? You know, but look, but this woman is business minded.
Well, I tell you what, that's all
And
it
she's a
takes.
young
y'all.
woman.
I have a niece, Felisa, who didn't take the internet or computer science, and she got on this job, and she asked this white lady. She says, "Teach me how to do that," and the white lady did.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
And blessed her, she makes $80,000 a year. Okay, and she can always find a job. Anyway, she don't like the way they treat her at one place, she goes get another job, and it's always better. So that's the reason I said it to my niece and to my mother, who taught them and taught all of us that education has to be important to the parent. Otherwise, it will not be important to the children. Our brother Carlos, friend, thank you, sweetheart. Now, you chime in anytime you want. Brother Carlos, welcome. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your guest.
Thank you.
I'm gonna just precept this with something from James Brown. James Brown said, "We don't know karate, but we know Kareza," and I say that I say that with this in mind. As a reformed social worker, we in our community are fighting a spiritual and political war. The most dangerous program put out there to destroy our black families was a program to keep the black fathers out of the household.
Yes, sir. Conspiracy.
So that the mothers could get some benefits for their children.
That's right. That's right.
And so
in the 60s, welfare. I was there.
Yes, indeed. And so when you have babies raising babies, then what can they teach their children? They can't teach their children what they don't know.
That's right.
What they don't. So we have a conundrum that we have to solve in our community. That is, we have to find out a way to make sure that we mentor and bring in the village to mentor our young mothers and babies, boys and girls, to socialize them,
so they love themselves.
Right, and so they do not become victims of the mean streets. And this program was aided and abetted by government officials.
Yes, it was.
It was. Federal down to the state level.
It was.
And that continues to be a major component of our demise as a race.
I agree with you.
I lived it.
Listen, what was the name of the movie with Diane Carroll they made? It was an excellent movie with
Claudine.
Claudine.
Yeah.
If y'all want to know what it was, that movie talk. That's what that movie was about.
I lived it.
Yes, ma'am.
In Flag Court Projects when I was on welfare. You know, and I know he's exactly right when they would come into the house to see if if you had a man there, rather than trying to promote the fact that you did have your guy there.
Moynihan is the culprit of one of the people who was a congressman, I believe, from Massachusetts. And you know what? I'm trying to stay saved on the air, but whenever I think of his name, I do want to cuss him out. I really do. I hope he's dead.
I'm writing about that in another book that I'm working on.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and I'm probably the oldest one here.
I don't know about that. I'm not going to ask you your age, but
you know, and going back to that time when you lived through that, he is exactly right. You know, and that was welfare, and it wasn't anything to try to help the black race.
No,
it was more of a hindrance.
It was to break up the family.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly what it was. Carlos, thank you so much. Did you have anything else to say?
Moynihan was from New York.
Okay.
And his program was benign neglect. The Negroes are looking for rights, and they're looking for benefits and so forth. We brought them this far, so now it's time to drop them and let them fend for themselves through the program of benign neglect.
That was him. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That was brilliant. I know my stuff. Go ahead, Lemitra.
I was going to say another thing that they did. They took the trades out of the high schools. When we were growing up, all the trades were in the high school.
Sure did. Sure was.
Right.
Sure was.
Fathers had trades.
Home economics and woodcraft and that's absolutely
You're
right.
absolutely right, Lemitra. And
Especially here in Baltimore City.
I read that there was too many black people coming into the middle class, so they ended it to keep.
That's the reason why.
Yeah, that's what I read it to be.
That's why they ended it.
Because the only job that we could really get in the middle class easy was being in the post office, right? That would create a middle class, and
now you're seeing a shortage in trade industries as far as skilled and qualified workers is concerned.
That's right.
You know why we talking about it though? Let me jump on B. Go ahead.
We already have mechanisms, though. We have mechanisms. Look, if we can teach our children to value what they already do know. Just value what you already do know. The college is not for everybody. I agree with that. But if you can read now, if you can count now, if you can write now, if you can cook now, if you can clean now, you can make some money.
That's right.
Somebody somewhere needs what you know how to do.
That's right.
Right.
And
I agree.
Stop chasing that paper that somebody else has in their hand and go create an income stream of your own
That's right.
comes directly to your hand. Cut the middleman out. They ain't doing nothing but taking your money and then making your tap dance to get it back.
Exactly.
I wanted to honor your existing knowledge.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
This is a good segue for my book because I did write a book.
Come on, tell us about it.
This is book number 4. I'm not like Barbara. Barbara got 92 books.
She's got an encyclopedia.
I'm looking up a very, very long 6, but that's all right. I'm going to catch up with her at one point in my life. But this book is called From Creativity to Creating Income. Turn what you know into dough. I try to get something that was catchy so the kids would be like, let me read this.
Okay.
But it really speaks to, make a list. Make a list. Make a list of all the stuff that you know how to do. It'll change the way you feel about what you know.
That's right.
Because you don't really know all the things that you know. You've never sat down and made a list of what you believe they are. And let me tell you something. When you start making that list, it will lend itself to some other stuff that you forgot that you knew. And by the time you get to what you think is the end, you'll think of some more stuff, and it won't be the end. And then you'll really understand the value of the brain that is inside your head and all the things that you have worked so hard to put in it that you do not go get unless somebody else is asking you for it. Ask yourself, you be the thing that you need to rescue you, because you are. Look, when we want somebody to rescue us, we call somebody else, right? But we are the somebody else for everybody else.
That's right.
So if everybody else can ask us, why can't we ask us for what we need?
Oh, bless your
Everybody
heart.
else is asking us for what they
That's
need.
absolutely right. Some people might be able to sew. Some people might be
That's
able
right.
to cook.
That's right.
Some people might be able to do hair
That's
right
right.
in their own house. Some people might be able to take 2 or 3 children
That's
after
right.
school and to get that, make that money. It's all sorts of things we can do, but we're not taught to be entrepreneurs.
And that's one of the bills that I put in, and nobody's taken it up. To teach entrepreneurship and financial literacy in high school, starting at the 10th grade, and also teach it in prison for inmates who are within a year of being released.
Well, you know, that used to be the way it was until Joe Biden's crime bill.
I taught in prison for 7 years. And I
well,
know
Joe
it was.
Joe Biden is the
went
one
there.
that
I
ended
went
that.
there
For
long
all y'all
time.
black folks that's voting for him.
And Patrick, what I appreciate about Fran's book is that it's an $11 investment in an ebook, and you can probably make easily 5 to 6 figures starting your own business.
Yeah,
That's right.
easily.
Using
Doing
your
stuff
own
you love to do.
creativity.
Don't do nothing you don't like to do. Let's start there.
I hate to put
If
that
you can't
shameless plug
stand
in,
children, don't be trying to have no children up in your house keeping them, because you're going to get arrested for child
Right.
abuse. Okay, know what you
Right,
love.
right,
Find what you
right,
love, and
right.
you will wake up every morning wanting to do it.
That's right.
It just
That's right.
makes sense.
You know what? You said something
That
so
is so
succinct.
true.
Say that again.
What?
Find what you love.
Find what you love. I mean, for me, I don't work but one day a week. Thank God I got a
Right.
gift. But on Saturday and Sunday, Saturday is my choir rehearsal, and Sunday is church.
You know,
Okay.
people ask me, like, when you start a business, do what you're good at. And I don't say that. You know what? You may be good at it because it paid your bills.
Right, but
find out what you love.
Yes.
Because when you love,
It's
do
your
what you
passion.
love, you'll never work another
You'll
day.
never work
because
another
you're
day.
doing what you love.
Yes, and you will
Absolutely.
joyfully.
Every time I
approach it.
talk to Patrick in reference to him in the choir and stuff, I mean, there's an energy that you hear about him because he's doing something that he loves.
Yes, yes,
You know?
yes.
Yes.
You know?
And even though I had that heart attack, and sometime when I get through with that song, I'm grabbing the fan and a bottle of water to get to the next song. I am charged up, and when the people are blessed and I see them rejoicing, I know that my job and what I love doing for the Lord is being fulfilled. So I'm empowered because of it. And I don't care. They're not going to stop me from playing the piano. You know, I lost my hands, and they said I'd never play again. That was a lie, because God said, I need them hands for you to come and bless my people. So you're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back after the station ID.
I believe in me. Oh yeah. I believe that we
Talk in the day. Soul at night on the new 1010 WOLB.
Every parent knows that our kids are our greatest investment. But in Maryland, our public schools are in crisis. Students don't have the resources they need, and half of our educators are forced to work a second job to make ends meet.
I'm in high school. I shouldn't have to fight for our schools to be fully funded.
Just the lack of adequate funding and resources and things like that really affects us.
Our teachers are doing everything they can.
We need our leaders to step up and make a change.
That's why right now, Maryland lawmakers are considering a bill called the Blueprint for Maryland's Future that would fully fund our schools. That means expanding vocational and technical education in our classrooms so all our kids have opportunities after graduation, and giving our teachers a raise so they can focus on our students full time.
We need to change because it all starts with us.
It's just not just my generation, it's all the students and kids who come after us.
Tell your lawmakers, support our kids.
Visit www.strongschoolsmaryland.org
and pass the blueprint for Maryland's future.
Paid for by Strong Schools Maryland.
Foreclosure. If foreclosure is a word you're hearing and worrying about, you need to get a fresh start now. Call Jeff Cerroti to stop foreclosure at 410-999-8000. Stop the harassing phone calls. Sleep easier. Set up a free in-office consultation with Jeff Cerroti himself to get your fresh start. Cerroti & Associates are the bankruptcy specialists. They've been helping Marylanders stop foreclosures and get out from under their mounting bills for over 25 years. Foreclosure stopped, or set up a free in-office consultation. You'll sit down with Jeff Cerroti to discuss your situation. No obligation, but if you do proceed, mention WOLB for a special discount. Call today, 410-999-8000 or freshstartlaw.com to get your financial fresh start and stop foreclosure with the bankruptcy specialist, Cerroti & Associates. They're convenient to the Beltway with free parking. Stop foreclosure. Stop garnishment. Call Cerroti & Associates today at 410-999-8000. We're a debt relief agency helping people file bankruptcy under the bankruptcy code.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1.
It's done unto you as you believe.
All right. We're back. We're going to go directly to the calls. You're listening to Patrick Henderson Meets the People. I believe it doesn't say who's next here. No, it just says Dorothy. Dorothy, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment?
Kind of both for real. How you doing today, Mr. Henderson?
Oh, I'll tell you, I'm blessed of the Lord. It's a beautiful day. I feels good, as my mom used to say.
I can see it.
Yes.
I can see it because I'm watching you as I'm talking on the phone.
Oh, Facebook,
and,
okay.
I want to say hello to Senator Barbara Robinson too.
Hello.
Y'all got a powerhouse in there today.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Henderson and Barbara Robinson.
Well, I tell you what, and you and all of the callers that are going to call in and comment, because we need to talk about this. The doctor can't heal you unless he knows what your symptoms are. And I want to talk about this because if we could ever get our women on the same page, man, because they are the hands that rock the cradle. Okay, if we could ever get our women to love each other, help each other, this would be a different continent, a different place, because they're the ones that's raising our children.
We rock the cradle, we build the cradle.
That's right, exactly. So that's why I wanted to have this show. Did you have a question or comment, Dorothy?
I just wanted to say y'all having a good conversation today. We you know, all that didn't happen in Baltimore. I think enough didn't happen, and God and showed all of us that okay, here it is before y'all, and it took advocates to get out there to bring things to light for real. But Miss Robinson, right now, I'm so glad she's not a senator no more.
You know what, I am too.
This community, I always promote this about her. I've been talking to a lot of young people about her. People like her that has already been in that arena. I'm sitting here listening to her talk about the bills that she put through.
They're still sitting there.
They're still sitting there, right? And they're very important bills. But I'll say this, right? What others can't do for us as a community together, Mr. Henderson, we can do this ourselves.
Yes,
we
ma'am.
really can. And stuff, right? And people like Miss Robinson and you too, Mr. Henderson, because you know I say you got the. I think you got the baddest platform for real.
Well, thank you. Is this Dorothy O'Bannon? Who is this?
Yep.
Hey, hello, sweetheart. You're so faithful to us. Thank you, and I love your commentary. I follow you on Facebook. Thank you. This is what I'm talking about, and we can be a coalition of people
we are a coalition.
Yes, ma'am.
We are a coalition.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna tell you something. People like you and Miss Robinson, you guys, you the Baltimore we've been waiting for, right? They call my generation the OGs, the generation of OGs. No, y'all the OGs, right? And y'all so important to us right now. Y'all are the foundation.
Well,
you know, each generation makes mistakes.
Yes, ma'am.
And stuff, right? But we've gotten past that in my generation as it relates to your generation of folks and stuff, right? We need y'all more than ever. God is using y'all to bless us so that we can bless. It can just trickle on down to the grassroots.
And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. Want to trickle down. In fact, all right. Thank you, Dorothy. Always good to hear from you, sweetheart.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Fran, what was the name of your book again? I definitely want to talk about that book. What was the name of the one that you just talked to?
From creativity to creating income. Turn what you know into dough. So you can find it on my website, which is www.selfdevelopmentsuccess.com. Selfdevelopmentsuccess.com. In every book that I have 4. Every book that I have, the sale of the books generates a donation to a nonprofit organization that I work with. Right now, the donations for every one of the book sales, and that's 50% of the sale.
Wow.
So service creates paper.
Yes,
so,
yes, I like that.
That's that thing. So this book, from creativity to creating income, turn what you know into dough, honors your existing knowledge, your existing skills, your existing talents, and then takes what you already have and puts it to work for you in a way that meets your needs.
Yes.
We all have needs.
And
we all have something that we got to have.
But you know what? Yes, Fran.
That we can do to meet it.
Yes, but you know what? The one thing I want people to understand, just because you got a 9 to 5, don't mean you shouldn't be trying to create other streams of income.
That's right.
See, that's what we do. You want to make more money. The more money you make, the better. Not only you and your family lives, but it's freeing of the spirit.
That's
and
right.
it helps you to grow.
Yes.
So just because you got one job, don't mean you can't have 2. Like them Jamaicans, they have 10 and 12 jobs.
Yes.
I got
no matter how young you are in the house, you can have a job. Look, when I was coming up, my mom, we Saturday was the work day. Saturday, you didn't get to go outside and play. You didn't play until the house was clean, the dishes were done, the floors were mopped, the laundry was done. I don't care if she just took all the towels out the linen closet and made you fold all the towels that were already folded. You better do it, too. And at the end, she would give you a little something because she was teaching you that you had to work for what you get.
And then when you work, there's a little reward.
You work for what you get.
Yes.
And then when you work, you get a little reward. Right. So everybody in the house did something. Everybody did something. But the whole point of that message for me right now is this. When my kids wanted stuff, I bought my son a used lawnmower and told him, there are yards in this neighborhood that you can cut and make your money. Get out of my pocket. And you know what? He started making enough money for me to try to get in his pocket.
That's what I'm talking about.
For me, you know, my daughter, you want stuff? All right. Well, you outside playing with so-and-so's sister. You need to go around there and tell Miss Susie that you're going to watch her for $5 an hour when she goes to work and see if you can't create another little income stream. You're already over there anyway. And so she started babysitting. And then she did the smartest thing. She said, Ma, if I learn how to do CPR, I can make more money. I was like, oh, yeah? Yeah, because people pay more money for babysitters that know CPR. I didn't know that. I don't know how she found that out, but she found it out. I took her to the Red Cross and got her a free CPR class, and she bumped it up from $5 to $10 an hour, and people paid it.
Yes. Absolutely, but see, that's what we got to do.
That's right.
But you know what? Thank you so much for saying this. You know, I had an after-school program where I taught children from the ages of 8 to 10 to play piano, violin, and cello. And I also taught them life skills. And I did it for 3 years. And at the end, when we'd give that recital, people could not believe that those kids were playing from Beethoven to Richard Smallwood. They couldn't believe their kids would be able to pick up those instruments and play. All right? And not only are our children just gifts from God, but our children are born in their DNA is the invention of civilization. And we underestimate and we break their spirits. And this proven that children who do chores could become better adults, more productive adults, because they get out of that laziness. See, that's the one thing that we don't talk about enough. Our children are lazy and we don't push them.
That's everybody's criticizing Marie Osmond. Everybody's criticizing Marie Osmond recently because she said that she wouldn't leave her money to her children because she doesn't want her children to feel privileged. She wants them to earn, you know.
Same thing Warren Buffett, the richest man in the world. He won't. You know, he's not leaving
and
it.
DL Hughley, you know, who's on our sister station, said the same thing with his children. You know, he makes them do chores in order to earn money. You know, he doesn't, you know, because he has wealth and has money doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a given.
No, because they grow up with a feeling of entitlement.
Right. Entitlement and privilege.
Right. I work with a group of young ladies on
Jean, we're coming to you next. Go ahead.
On a Saturday where we talk exactly about that. We meet up at PowerPoint up in Montgomery. But I also work with a group from New York called Genius is Common. And that's exactly right. You know, these young people are geniuses.
Yes,
they don't know it because we play down.
Yes.
You know, they live up to your level of expectation.
Yes. And then we think they sassing us because they say something that we contend is a little out of and it's the way that they say it. Don't worry about what they're saying, how they say it. Worry about what they're saying. Be concerned about that. Does that make sense?
Right. Fran, you and I need to do something together. We've been saying that. So now that I have time, now that you... we both can get together and do something like we did before. So we're going to talk offline.
All right. We're going to go to Jean or Jean. Jean, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question?